My Weird School, Book Number 8. Miss Lagrange is Strange. Written by Dan Gutman. Pictures by Jim Palott. Chapter 9. Give Peas a Chance. I'm not going. You have to go. Just my luck. My mother and Andrea's mother are friends. They met when me and Andrea were in preschool together. They even played tennis with each other. So I would have to go to Andrea's stupid birthday party. I looked at the invitation again. You are invited to Andrea's birthday party. It's a tea party. A tea party? What kind of a dumb birthday party is that? Kids are supposed to have bowling parties, or skating parties, or movie parties. Who wants to go to a party and drink tea? I hate tea. The first thing I did when I got to school the next day was to find Andrea. She was at her cubby putting her backpack away. I thought you said you weren't going to invite me to your birthday party, I whispered to her. I didn't want to invite you, she said. My mother made me. Well, I'm not going, I said. Good. Ryan and Michael were goofing around by the water fountain. Hey, are you guys going to Andrea's tea party? I asked. What tea party? Asked Ryan. I'd rather die, Michael said. Why, are you invited? No, I lied. I was just wondering. I didn't want Michael and Ryan to know Andrea invited me to her party. So how did you know Andrea was having a tea party? Michael asked. I don't know, I said. If you're ever stuck for an answer and you don't know what to say, just say, I don't know. It works every time. Well, almost every time. AJ, you were invited to Andrea's party, weren't you? Asked Ryan. No. I saw you whispering to Andrea, Michael said. Hey, everybody, AJ's going to a tea party. I am not. Ooh, Ryan said. AJ and Andrea are in love. When are you gonna get married? Asked Michael. If those guys weren't my best friends, I would hate them. Fortunately, Miss Daisy clapped her hands to shut everybody up. We pledged the allegiance, and then we learned some more about ancient Egypt. Miss Daisy asked if anybody figured out how they picked up those big rocks to build the pyramids. Nobody raised their hand. Then we worked on our Welcome Elementary banner until lunchtime. When I got to the front of the lunch line, Miss Lagrange winked at me. You look cold, Mr. AJ, she said, like you've been in the freezer. How about some nice hot French peas and carrots to warm you up? No thanks. Oh, come on, she said, grabbing for her squirt bottle. Give peas a chance. Miss Lagrange didn't squirt me with her squirt bottle. She did something even weirder. She started singing. All we are saying is give peas a chance. And then she sang it again, really loud. All we are saying is give peas a chance. It was a really annoying song, but the next thing I knew, all the teachers joined in. All we are saying is give peas a chance. Then the whole lunchroom was singing that stupid pea song. It was totally embarrassing. It almost made me want to eat some peas, just to shut them up. I'll tell you what, I said to Miss Lagrange. If I eat a pea, will you tell me what yayi means? She was thinking it over. Just one pea? She asked. Yeah, one pea. Okay, she agreed. Let's see you eat one pea, Mr. AJ. Everybody started cheering. Miss Lagrange picked up a pea with a spoon. She held it up to my mouth. Everybody started clapping. I closed my eyes. I opened my mouth. Everybody started chanting, AJ, AJ, AJ. And I ate the pea. It wasn't bad, to tell you the truth. At least I didn't throw up. Okay, I said, after swallowing the pea. What does ya-yi mean? Ya-yi, Miss Lagrange said, stands for you are what you eat. You are what you eat? I asked. That's right, she said. If you eat good, healthy food, you'll be a good, healthy person. And if you eat junk, well, I thought about that for a moment. I'm a pea, I screamed. Ugh, it's disgusting. I'm going to die. Chapter 10. Andrea's Birthday Party. I told my mom I was sick from eating a pea, but she said I had to go to Andrea's birthday party anyway. She even made me dress up like a grown-up in a jacket and tie. It was horrible. When Mom dropped me off at Andrea's house, she made me promise to behave and handed me a present she had bought for Andrea. I went up the steps and rang the doorbell. I'm so glad to see you, AJ, said Andrea's mother, who looks just like Andrea, but with wrinkles. I thought you said you weren't coming, said Andrea. My mother made me, I said, handing her the present. I saw Emily and a few other girls in our class. It took me about 2 seconds to realize something horrible. Of all the kids at Andrea's party, I was the only boy. The only boy. There were all these giggly girls running around Andrea's living room in party dresses. It was awful. I went into the kitchen. Maybe at least they'd have some good junk food to eat, I figured. But you'll never guess in a million years who was standing at the stove in the kitchen. It was Miss Lagrange. Bonjour, Mr. AJ, she said. You look very handsome in a jacket and tie. Miss Lagrange, what are you doing here? I'm the caterer, she said. So you made the food? We? I asked. You and who else? No, she said. We means yes in French. That didn't make any sense to me. If we means yes, I asked, how do you say we? We? Yes, I said. How do you say we? We, she said. But you said we means yes, I said. It can't also mean we. No? Oh, forget it. That French talk makes no sense at all. Did you make any junk food? I asked. Junk food? Said Miss Lagrange. Oh, no. Remember ya-yi, you are what you eat? The party was the most boring party in the history of the world. Miss Lagrange made a bunch of weird French foods that don't even exist in America. I almost ate this thing called escargot until Miss Lagrange told me it was a snail. I almost ate a snail. I thought I was gonna throw up. Isn't trying new foods fun, AJ? Andrea's mother asked. Oh yeah, I lied. Lots of fun. Are we gonna play some games or something? Games? Andrea's mother asked. What kind of games? You know, like when you whack a piñata with a baseball bat until it busts and all the candy falls out, I said. That sounds rather violent, Andrea's mother said. In this house, we don't believe in hitting. I was so bored. I kept waiting for something to happen, but nothing ever did. Everybody just sat there eating snails and drinking tea. There was nothing for me to do. I noticed a little garbage can in the corner. I decided to see if I could throw one of those snail things into the garbage can from across the room. So I picked one up and threw it at the garbage can. The only problem was Emily was standing next to the garbage can. Instead of hitting the garbage can, I hit Emily in the head. She fell backward and landed on a little table that had a bunch of teacups on it. The teacups went flying everywhere. Emily was on the floor, freaking out. Man, she falls down a lot. There's tea all over my shirt, Emily screamed. Now it's a t-shirt, I said. Ha ha ha. I thought that was pretty funny, but nobody laughed. Girls have no sense of humor at all. I bumped my mouth, Emily shouted. I think my loose tooth is going to fall out. What a crybaby. Her dumb tooth was going to fall out anyway. What was the big deal? Finally, the horrible party was over, and my mom came to pick me up. On the way out, Miss Lagrange handed me a goodie bag. You'll never guess in 1,100,000 years what was in it. Tea bags! That had to be the dumbest party in the history of the world. The only good thing about it was that Andrea probably won't invite me to her birthday party next year. Chapter 11. Silent Lunch. It was the next day. The green traffic light was on in the vomitorium. How was Andrea's party, AJ? Ryan asked me, poking Michael in the side and giggling. It was cool, I lied. There was a rock climbing wall and a half pipe for skateboarding. At the end, I got a goodie bag, and there was a remote control car in it. No way was I going to tell them I sat around drinking tea with Andrea and her friends. While we were talking, I was playing with my fork and spoon on the table. And when I put my spoon across my fork, the most amazing thing in the history of the world happened. I figured it out, I shouted. Figured what out? Asked Ryan and Michael. I just figured out how the Egyptians picked up those big rocks to build the pyramids. How? Look, I said, scooping up some of Ryan's carrots and peas with my spoon. Imagine these peas and carrots are big rocks. Nobody could pick one up, but if they could slide them onto a big scoop like this and put the scoop across a big fork like this, it would be easier to pick up. I put the spoonful of carrots and peas across my fork, like the spoon and fork were a little seesaw. You're right, Michael said, smashing his fist down on the table. The only problem was Michael's fist missed the table and hit the long end of the spoon instead. The peas and carrots went flying up in the air. They hit the ceiling and then they stuck up there. The ceiling was splotched with peas and carrots. It was the coolest thing in the history of the world. You should have been there. Me and Ryan and Michael looked up at the ceiling. We were excited that I had solved the mystery of the pyramids. That's when Miss I Know Everything came over to our table. She looked all mad. AJ, Andrea said, you ruined my birthday party. I did not. Did too. We went back and forth like that a few more times, but then something totally amazing happened. Remember those peas and carrots that were stuck to the ceiling? Well, I guess they didn't stick very well because they started falling down. on Andrea's head. Eek! Andrea screamed. I can't see. I've got carrots in my eyes. That's okay, Andrea, I said. Carrots are good for your eyes. Ryan and Michael thought that was hilarious, but I guess Andrea didn't. She picked up Michael's bowl of spaghetti and dumped it over my head. Nobody dumps spaghetti over my head and gets away with it. I picked up Ryan's bowl of macaroni and cheese and pushed it in Andrea's face. Food fight! Food fight! Everybody started chanting. I'm not exactly sure what happened next. Things sort of went out of control. Kids started shouting and throwing stuff at each other. Mr. Klutz turned on the red light, but it didn't help. This is a silent lunch, Mr. Klutz shouted, but it was so loud in there that you could hardly hear him. Pickle chips were flying around. Somebody got hold of Miss Lagrange's pepper shaker and started hitting meatballs up in the air like they were baseballs. Emily got hit in the head with a meatball, and the big crybaby freaked out. Help! Help! She screamed. My tooth fell out. I think I swallowed it. I'm choking. Emily got up to run out of the room, but instead she crashed right into the big traffic light. It toppled over. As it was falling, the traffic light hit our Welcome Elementary banner and ripped it in half. Crash! It was at that moment that the door to the vomitorium opened. You'll never guess in a million years who walked in. It was elementary. Everybody stopped what they were doing. Nobody made a sound. Elementary limped into the vomitorium. She held a cane in one hand. In her other hand, she held the plaque we won for having the cleanest school in the district. I looked at Miss Lagrange. Miss Lagrange looked at Elementary. Elementary looked around the vomitorium. Welcome to elementary school, said Mr. Klutz, coming over to greet her. We are proud and honored. Mr. Klutz never got the chance to finish his sentence. Elementary picked up some kids' chocolate pudding and dumped it over Mr. Klutz's head. I always wanted to do that, Elementary said. Well, Mr. Klutz said, licking the pudding off his face, I guess lunch is on me. Mr. Klutz is nuts. The next thing anyone knew, food was flying through the air again. Mrs. Cooney, the nurse, hit our music teacher, Mr. Loring, with a beef and bean burrito. Miss Hannah, the art teacher, threw a plate full of chili surprise at our librarian, Mrs. Rupee. Miss Mall, the gym teacher, hit our science teacher, Mr. Docker, with a corn dog. It was raining tater tots. Kids were squirting ketchup packets at each other. Somebody was running around spraying people with Miss Lagrange's spray bottle. I haven't had this much fun in years, Elementary said, as she picked up a chicken pot pie and heaved it across the vomitorium. Elementary is weird. I guess Mr. Klutz can't say that we don't get enough exercise anymore. With all the throwing and ducking and running around, food fights are great exercise. Eventually, we ran out of food to throw at each other. When it was all over, Café Lagrange was a mess. All the food groups were stuck to the wall. Maybe I should go back to France, no? Miss Lagrange said. Miss Lazare, the custodian, came in with her mop. Oh, great, she said. A mess. I love cleaning up messes. Don't clean it up, shouted Miss Hannah, our art teacher. It's not a mess. This is art. Miss Hannah is bananas. Everybody got quiet when Elementary cleared her throat to talk. Where is the boy who wrote me a letter saying he hated school? Everybody looked at me. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. I had to think fast. So I started burping. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. When I finished burping the alphabet, the whole school gave me a standing ovation. Elementary gave me a hug. She said that when she was a student here, she hated school too. But coming back to elementary school was the most fun I ever had in my life. Thank you. To celebrate, Miss Lagrange brought out the special dessert she was hiding in the freezer. It was called sorbet. It's sort of a cross between ice cream and water ice. Yum! While we were eating it, Emily found her tooth. It was right on her plate. What a dumbhead. As it turned out, we didn't get to keep the award for having the cleanest school in the district. Somebody at the Board of Education found out about the food fight, and they gave the award to some other school instead. Mr. Klutz said that if we cleaned up the vomitorium and work really hard to control ourselves, maybe next year we'll have the cleanest school in the district. But it won't be easy.